Hello and welcome to Chapter 5, Section 3. Now we're going to start talking about function tables. A function is just a rule. X plus 3, 2x minus 1, those are rules. Every time you get a number, you're going to do something to it and you're going to do the same thing to it every single time. That's all a function is. It's take a little mini equation and apply it to everything you see. A function looks like this. Here's an example of one. Y equals 2x plus 9. So x is our input number, y is our answer, our output number, and this part of the equation, this is called our function, because every time we get an x, this is what we're going to do with it. Okay? It's got an input number and an output number. So if I say my rule is 2x plus 1, then my x is my input. So every time I get a number, I get a 4, I get a negative 2, I get a 3.9. That's my input. And I'm going to put that in where my x goes. So every time my rule says 2x plus 1, whatever my number is, 3.9, I'm going to multiply that by 2 and then add 1. That's the rule. The number that I get at the end is the answer. And that's called our output, and that's y. So the input is the number that you start with, and the output is the number that the rule gives you. And you end up with an x and a y. Now I'm going to warn you, we are going to get to the point where we actually graph x and y, and it makes a line. And this is where all the math starts to come together, and it gets really interesting, I think. So we're going to start out with a basic rule. Our rule here is 2x plus 9, and I've been given x's. I have a 0, I have a 2, and I have a negative 3. These are my x's. So when I work my rule, I want it to look like this. So I'm going to say 2 times 0 plus 9. 2 times 2 plus 9. 2 times negative 3 plus 9. And we write it out like this so that we can see things. Because we don't want to do too much in our head. We're going to do this part in our head. So I want to see all my numbers and then do it in my head. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 9 is 9. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 9 is 13. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Negatives, and I might even want to write the negative 6 so I can see it, plus 9 is 3. So now I have my x, I was given my x, I have my y, which is my answer, and I can plot my points. This is going to be x is 0, y is 9. X is 2, y is 13. X is negative 3, y is 3. And now I have my ordered pairs. My function table has given me a set of ordered pairs. Now because my x is just an x and not an x squared or something weird like that, because it's just an x, this is actually going to make a line. And the cool thing about this is if it doesn't make a line, I either graphed it wrong or I did the math wrong. And you can actually go back and check and see what is it I'm doing wrong so that you don't get wrong answers. They should all form a line. So let's check it out. I'm going to start by graphing 0, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. That's my first one. Then I've got 2, 10, 11, 12, 13. 2, 13, and negative 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3. There. So this should make a line. So I know that I did them right because I don't have an answer that's like way over here. See what I'm saying? Now, clues on how to do this properly so that when you get to algebra, you know exactly what you're doing, because they do this a lot in algebra, trust me. So, when you're drawing a line, it's a continuous line. It's not a line segment. So, it's got an arrow on each side of the line, and your line travels through both the x and the y axis. So, you're not going to stop it here just because your last point is here. You're going to bring it all the way through both axes. Okay? Just a little bit of a, so now you know clue. So we're going to give this another try. And this one we're going to do with an x squared because I want you to see what x squared looks like. So we're going to come up with, and this is going to allow us to come up with our own x's. I think for now you're going to be given x's, but it's going to get to a point where it's just going to say, here's a function, graph it. And so you come up with your own x's. When you come up with your own x's, make sure that you have 0, and that you have a couple of positives and a couple of negatives. So the best thing really to do is to do 5, especially with x squared. So we're going to do 2 and 1 and 0 and -1 and -2 so we can see our patterns. So 6 times x squared, 2 times 2 is 4. 6 times 1 squared is 1. Okay, 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times -1 squared. 6 times -1 times -1 is +1. -2 times -2 is +4. So 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Ew, weird. We're getting the same numbers here. So when x is 2, y is 24. When x is 1, y is 6. When x is 0, y is 0. When x is -1, y is 6. And when x is -2, y is 24. Okay, I'm going to do these by 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. 18, 20, 22, 24. There we go. So each one of these is 2. So my first one is going to be 2, 24. And my second one is 1 and 6. 2, 4, 6. My third one is 0, 0. My fourth one is -1, 6. And my second one is -2, 24. So it ends up being, it looks like a V. When you get into algebra, and these go on forever, so make sure you extend your lines. When you get into algebra, these are actually called parabolas, and you do a lot of work with x squared parabolas on graphs. We're introducing it to you here. You don't have to do anything to it except actually be able to make the graph. But it's kind of interesting when you have x squared and you put in negative numbers, you don't get negative numbers out. Kind of fun, but anyway. All right. Your turn. I want you to try it. Now here your function is y equals 3x minus 2. So 3 times x minus 2 is going to be your rule. So start with these 5 x's, build yourself a table, build yourself one of these. Now you can build one of these and do a really good job and use it for 3 or 4 lines and just number the lines. You don't have to build one for every single line you do. It saves you a little bit of time. So take a minute, build this, and then come back to see how you did, because we're going to not only get good at this section, but we're going to take this to the next level, to the next level, to the next level this chapter. So I need you good at this, okay? Pause and come back. So, starting here, I filled in my x's, I filled in my rules. So 3 times 2 is 6, minus 2 is 4. 3 times 1 is 3, minus 2 is 1. 3 times 0 is 0, minus 2 is -2. 3 times -1 is -3, minus 2 is -5. 3 times -2 is -6, minus 2 is -8. So my ordered pairs are 2, 4, 1, 1, 0, -2, -1, 5, -5, and -2, -8. Okay, now we're going to graph those. 2, 4, 1, 1, 0, -2, -1, -5, and -2, -8. And voila, check it out. It makes a line. Oh, and I even did a pretty good job at drawing a line. Fantastic. And it does go through both axes. And I know that I didn't get one of these wrong because they didn't end up way the heck scattered off there. How'd you do? This is where our negative number work is really going to come into help here. And if you're still not good at negative numbers, particularly, well, adding, subtracting, multiplying, those are the ones we really need. Go back and review them. There are sections in the very back of your book, the green pages, that are review pages. So find the chapter on adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing negative numbers, and practice some more. If you need the answers, I've got them in the teacher book at school. Please come and ask for them, but it's a way to practice to make yourself better so that this is easy, because we want this to be easy. It's complicated, but it's not hard, okay? So here we are at practice. You are going to make a function table, and you are going to graph each equation. You are going to use x equals negative 2 through 2. So here we're going to go, oh, I've got them upside down here. We did 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2. Doesn't matter what order you do them in, as long as you get those five are important, okay? So all I'm doing is giving you the rules, and you have to go back and go through all the steps. Make a function table using your rules, fill out that function table, come up with your points and ordered pairs, and then make graphs, okay? You've got y equals 8x plus 5, and you've got y equals 4x squared. Now, make sure that you check your answers, because for this one, it should be a straight line, and for this one, it should be a V shape. So, make sure that your points come into those shapes at some point. And if not, go back and check those math problems and make sure that you've got all your positives and negatives the right way. Okay? So, hazard signs where you don't understand them, and stars where you do understand them. Please put a cloud around the other your turn so that I can check that when I check off your homework. Okay? Good luck, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.